Hi everyone, welcome back to the Optimal Experience. In our previous video discussing Crimson Desert, we looked at the CES footage running on an RX 9070 XT and concluded that for the most part, native rendering in modern gaming is coming to an end. But we have a major update, and it turns out we may be wrong. Native rendering isn't necessarily dead, optimization is just neglected. Recent technical deep dives have shown Crimson Desert running at native 4K, holding around 60 FPS with Ray-Traced Global Illumination on an RDNA 3 RX 7900 XTX. Combine that with reports of it holding a flawless native 4K 60 on newer hardware like the RX 9070 XT, and it proves that the narrative we've been fed that upscaling is mandatory is fundamentally flawed. Today we need to talk about how the Blackspace engine may just expose the industry and what this actually means for Unreal Engine 5. For the last few years, the standard has been to rely heavily on DLSS, FSR or frame generation just to reach acceptable frame rates at high resolutions. Crimson Desert completely exposes this upscaler crutch. It shifts the conversation from do I need to upgrade my GPU again to why isn't the studio optimizing their code? Much of the current optimization crisis stems from developers using off-the-shelf engines without the time, budget or expertise to fully tune them. Abyss built the Blackspace engine specifically for this game. If modern Radeon cards can pull these numbers natively with heavy ray tracing, the performance headroom for pushing high refresh rates on 4K displays is actually massive. It clearly demonstrates that your hardware is rarely the bottleneck, the software is. Gamers are exhausted by poor PC ports that require top-tier hardware just to brute force a playable experience. Because of games like Crimson Desert, we are going to see a widening gap in prestige between studios. First, we have the custom engine elite, studios with the immense capital to maintain their own highly optimized engines like Abyss, Capcom, Rockstar and Guerrilla Games. They will be viewed as the gold standard for PC performance, giving enthusiasts the native experience they paid for. Then we have the Unreal Engine 5 mainstream. The free pass is over. When the next big AAA title struggles at 1440p internal resolution while leaning on FSR to fake a 4K image, the community will point directly to Crimson Desert. It strips away the excuse that modern games are simply too complex to run natively. Does this mean the industry will abandon Unreal Engine 5? No. Building a proprietary engine from scratch takes years and tens of millions of dollars before a single asset is created. For 90% of studios, that financial risk is a non-starter. Unreal Engine 5 gives them a massive head start. It is infinitely easier to hire developers who already know Unreal Engine, and Epic provides an unparalleled ecosystem that allows smaller teams to punch way above their weight class visually. Unreal Engine 5 is not inherently doomed to run poorly. It is simply a massive generalized tool that defaults to extremely heavy settings. Epic Games CEO Tim Sweeney recently addressed these performance issues, stating that the main cause is the order of development. Studios often build the game for top-tier hardware first and only try to patch in optimization at the very end. To actually optimize an Unreal Engine 5 game, developers need to dig into the engine's core. The focus needs to shift to tackling shader compilation stutter, unburdening the CPU, and smart asset streaming. Optimization in Unreal Engine 5 requires a scalpel, but many rush studios are currently using a sledgehammer. Native 4K rendering isn't dead. The standard has simply been lowered by rushed development cycles and a reliance on upscaling. Crimson Desert and the Blackspace engine just proved exactly what our hardware is capable of. It's time to demand better optimization, appreciate the studios that actually do the hard work and deliver your optimal experience. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.